My name is Philip Illah-Williams. I'm a medical doctor. I am presently practicing in the UK. Well, I previously had practiced in Nigeria. I finished from Igbenedion University, Okada. I'm married, and I think that's just about that, really. I'm a specialty doctor in psychiatry in the UK. Yeah, that's basically about it. Yeah.
Hey, do you know that one doctor from Ghana or Nigeria will be winning a minimum of $250 in this month of February to pay for their Plab 1 exam? All they just need to do is to be a licensed doctor in Ghana or Nigeria. Subscribe to this channel for all of the informations. You can watch the video. It will be on the card, the description box, and in the pinned comment. This video is proudly sponsored by Pop Master, the #1 pop maestro in Accra, Ghana. Now let's dive straight into the video with Dr. Phil as we talk about how to become a medical doctor in the UK as an international medical graduate. So moving from Nigeria, Ghana to the United Kingdom as a doctor. Please watch to the end. At the end of the video, I would give you the question for the day, and this would put you in a very fantastic place to be one of the doctors who will be eligible to win the $250 for Plab 1. The next voice you'll be hearing will be Dr. Phil as he answers the question, why the UK instead of the US? Why Plab instead of the USMLE? In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Wow. So it's very economical. If people want to leave from Nigeria now, comparing the exchange rates, it's more economical because you probably might not really have to pay so much, except when you want to do your Plab 2, which is the final step where you have to pay for the exam in pounds, apply for a visa, come over to the UK, stay in Manchester maybe for a couple of days, write the exam, then return back to Nigeria before you now get your result and all that. But I think that's the major financially draining part. But the other parts are quite, any job that you're doing in Nigeria you should fairly be able to, one way or the other, just save something to get you right in it. So economic reasons, basically.
So economically, what you're trying to say is easier to move to the UK to practice medicine economically if you have the choice to choose between the UK and the US. Thank you so much. Okay, all right. I want to really ask this question because I have some parents who watch this channel, and many are training medical doctors. Some, of course, home trained in Nigeria, like yourself as well, trained in a private university, which is a little bit quite pricey. And with the hopes, let's be very honest, like at the very barest minimum, with the hope that the child will have a better life and a better future. So I'm just trying to raise this awareness as well as they are watching this channel. How important is it parental support, if possible, after medical school? Because medicine is, for me, like a very long journey. So how important is it for parents to know that after the 6 years of study or 4 years of study, whichever, that it's not over yet, if possible? Because of course I know different situations can differ.
I know that's very deep question, really, about try as much as possible to be very honest. When you study medicine in Nigeria, it's long, as you said, financially stressful and draining. Even if you're in a state school, if you're in a federal school, medicine is expensive. The textbooks, lots of things that go into the training are expensive. You need a sponsor, definitely. But the truth of the matter is that, unfortunately, in our Nigerian system, when you come out of school and you start working, you go into your internship, which is a house job. The pay is, well, if you are alone, you can probably be able to help take care of yourself. But when you finish that and go into NYSC, everything just crumbles. And you might probably find yourself on that radar, probably till you go into maybe residency, or you find yourself going into a program or if working in a hospital that maybe steps up the pay. And there's a very huge financial burden on the doctor at that time, because they even find it very difficult to sort out their own personal needs. Now, where do parents come in? For me, really, I think parents will come in depending on what the doctor wants to do. For example, if the doctor finishes the NYSC after his housemanship and feels, okay, well, I want to go into a residency program in Nigeria. Write your exams, pass your exams, go into residency program. And I think you start getting some salary that is fairly okay for you. And I think with that, you may be able to, you might still try, but at least you can get yourself moving on in your own little way. Your parents might not need to really do anything extra. Depending on how your lifestyle is, there are lots of factors that come into that, but based on the fact that you're working and you're getting something that is quite decent, they may feel that, okay, well, you're able to take care of yourself to a very large extent, and they might just support a little if they need to, but it will not be fully, they won't feel the burden as much as you were a student, because now you're working and getting salary for yourself. However, if after medical school and after housemanship, after NYSC, you choose to leave the country, honestly, that is where they might need to really see how they can help. But I said initially that for UK, why a lot of Nigerians want to go to the UK, one major reason is because of the economic, UK seems to be like the most attainable with given our economic situation at the moment. To go to the UK, if you have about 2.5 million naira, you should be able to probably go through your steps. Not completely anyway, but at least you should have been able to get to a relatively close margin to it. How I mean is, there are 3 major exams to write to go to the UK. You have the IELTS, you have the Plab 1, you have the Plab 2. IELTS, if you are doing academic, it's about, last time I checked, it was around 75k. At most, let's say 100k. So if you can get 100k, write your IELTS, you've passed the first step. You pass the first step, you go for your Plab 1. Plab 1 cost about, I think the last time I checked, around 125, let's say 150 pounds. If you convert the 150 pounds to Nigerian money, it's probably around, let's say, 120, 130k, maybe 150k. You are going to write it in Nigeria. You have centers in Nigeria. You're not traveling to write Plab 1. You can write it in Lagos, you can write it in Enugu, in Abuja. There are centers in Nigeria. So just go to the center and write your exam. So if you consider those 2 exams already, you've already spent probably like less than 300k. So if you're actually working, those 2 steps might not really be so difficult for you. So what I'm trying to say is that the parental support might come in more when you're getting towards the end of the journey. But why it's going to make sense at that point is because when you come to them at that time, they will look at you as someone that has really started something that is very progressive, and you're actually at your last stage. And some people don't really get to use parental support, because by the time you can organize yourself very well, you could probably just go and come back and then you continue. So in terms of parental support, I think it all depends on what the person wants to do after school. Because to be honest, I think parents too have this mentality that, I've trained you in school, so it's time for me to start enjoying the fruit of my labor. You enjoy the fruit of your labor, yeah, but it's a steady process to get there, really.
Yeah, how frustrating is it? I think many medical students do not think about this. How frustrating is it after graduation, and then it's almost like you're still studying, and this is your situation? Like, were you at that position where you are like, after medical school, go ball? I don't know, maybe I feel like everybody has that gap, even if it's a truth. It's the truth. So how did you feel when you got into the point of like, man, like it's just an upgraded version of, the journey? Describe that moment.
When you're a medical school,
house job, and then move through the rigorous routines, and then at least even the money you are getting, you can't flex like that. Like, so yeah.
Okay. I'll just say my own truth, because I don't know. I'll say my own truth.
Mm-hmm.
My decision to be a medical doctor, I'll be very honest, it's hard to do it. We had a family friend. He was an uncle at that time. He was a doctor working in a very nice company then, a federal company, very nice company. Way back 2000, 2001, he was staying in Dolphin Estate in Ikoyi at that time. So when we went to visit him, we needed to see the beautiful house. Everything was just lovely. And I was like, what does this man do? He says he's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Uncle, you're a doctor and you have all these things. He said, yeah, this is what it is. And that was where medicine started for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just said to myself that if I'm going to be rich and have what this man has, I have to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my starting point. And that was it for me. And till today, that has always been my focus. So what is people that come and say that I became a doctor for passion? Well, happy with your passion. I came into medicine I came in because I saw someone that was living a good life.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that, okay, this is a good way to live a good life. And that's how I came into medicine. So fine, the passion is there really, but of course the money is very important. So when I came into medicine, I started winning as a medical student. Of course, this medical school is a process that you all have to go through. But towards the end of our medical journey, we had lecturers that would come into school and say, by the time you guys graduate, you guys are all millionaires, So you'll be feeling like in your mind at that time, you feel like your MBBS certificate was like a check that had millions in it. So your hunger was, I can't wait to graduate, I can't wait to graduate. So you finally graduate, you start working. Now, the truth is that when you start doing your housemanship, you will still feel quite financially cool at that time. Why? Because all along, you've always been depending on your parents for money, depending on them for everything. Now you're working and you're getting paid. And when you look at your salary structure, you feel like, okay, well, if you're working in a federal hospital, for example, at least when I did my house job, they put you on like a level 11. I think what level 11 is in a federal structure. You're just very close to becoming a director. So you feel like, man, I think I'm doing well with myself, And you finish the 1 year, and then the reality begins to dawn on you when you go for NYSC. And then you go for NYSC and they're telling you that they're going to be paying you a particular amount, or some of them will say they're not even going to pay you as a doctor. And you start to yourself, okay, wait, when are we going to be able to, this thing that we're talking about, when is it going to start happening? And I think that is where the frustration begins to start. For me, personally, I enjoyed my housemanship. It was nice, I had a good time, and I was posted to Niger State to serve. I got to Niger State to serve. I was working in a military hospital, which was quite okay. But I now really began to ask myself that, okay, after now, what next? To be honest, I really didn't see anything different in terms of the financial state, because Nigeria was really getting to a period of inflation where the dollar was crashing against the naira was crashing against the dollar, against the pounds. So lots of things were not becoming very obtainable, because you may feel like you're earning, but when you really look at what is going on, you're just at about that same bracket. And I began to ask myself that I think it's time to make some decisions. Now, the good part about the internet is that because we're living in a modern era, internet has made information really easily available to us. You can check lots of things on the internet. You have friends that can tell you things through lots of virtual communication. There are lots of groups that can give you knowledge on what is going on. And people began to ask questions. And in terms of, in my quest to ask questions and to know what was going on, and I realized the fact that, oh, look, UK is there, US is there, countries are there. Okay, in these countries, which of them seems to be like the quickest and most attainable based on my given circumstance? And I saw that it was the UK, and I was like, okay, fine, let's give it a try. So as I was finishing my NYSC, I was going straight to write my IELTS. And of course, every other thing continued from there, and then I left.
All right. I think you just you just answered the question leading next to the next question. So, it's really, really amazing for me. So, well, the question was supposed to be, how did the UK decision come? So we already looked at how it started. So can you tell us like the step-by-step process quickly before we go in depthly? So you already started with after NYSC, you wrote your IELTS. So leading from there, can you just give us like a quick rundown? How did that go? What were the step-by-step process you took?
Okay, so going to the UK, there are 3 major exams you need to write. IELTS, International English Language and Testing System, Plab 1 as Professional Language and Assessment Board, Plab 1 and then 2. Those are the 3 major exams you need to write. Now, we have to write, we are made to write Plab 1 really, although some people argue that we're an English-speaking country, but they actually believe that they want us to communicate more efficiently when we come over there, so they want us to write Plab, IELTS. So IELTS is an English testing exam. It has 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, of which you need to get at least 7/9 in each of them and have a total band score of 7.5. And you have to do the academic IELTS because they have the academic and the general. So we are doing the academic, and our score band is 7 across all the 4 areas and 7.5. To be honest, it's not much of it. It's not really a difficult exam.
What's the cost in Naira?
The cost in Naira at then was about 75,000 Naira. Maybe now it should have gotten to maybe 100,000, but it's about 100K, let me put it like that. So it's quite there are materials to use, there are groups to join, and I think if you just continue to practice, you should be able to get a very good band score.
Did you have a problem with IELTS?
Yeah, I did have a problem with my IELTS. I won't deny
How many
that.
times? How many times did you
I
write it?
wrote it twice. I wrote my IELTS twice. The first IELTS I wrote, I think I had a 6.5 in my writing. I think there were some issues then, so I just like, okay, I didn't even bother to remark it. I just said, okay, don't worry, let it go. So I spoke to some of my few friends. I noticed the areas in my writing where I didn't do very well. So I knew friends that could write very well. So I communicated with them. So they tutored me like once or twice. I gave them some writings that I did. They assessed it, and then I went to write the next one, and I passed that one.
For IELTS, you did attend any like tutorials? You didn't buy any courses online, etc. Did you do anything of those stuff?
No, not really. There were some materials I used, but I think there are lots of materials on IELTS. I really can't recommend any because I think for me, for IELTS, I don't know. For me personally, I really won't recommend much because there are lots of materials out there, and I can't necessarily tell you that if you read this material, read that material, you're going to pass. But all of these materials, they basically tell you the same thing. They basically just tell you the concept of the exam. They tell you what you should look at in terms of the different types of the segment of the sections. But at the end of the day, it's your practice that really separates you from the other candidates. Your ability for you to be able to know what is expected of you, how to quickly interpret what is expected of you, and then deliver your answer. Skimming through stuff in reading. Reading is not about going through the whole thing. You have to just be able to skim for important information. And then it's practice that's going to be able to help you to know how to skim faster, how to search for keywords faster, and all that. So get the materials you can get, but keep practicing. That is actually where the result comes.
Yeah. There's this myth that because we are from Nigeria or an English-speaking country, and because of the economical demand, if I can put it that way, I don't know if it's the right sentence structure, the economic demand for Nigerians wanting to leave to UK. So IELTS manipulates the results so that they get more customers. Now it's a myth, and I think it's and I've heard it over and over again. So I just want to know what's your opinion about that.
Yeah, to be fair, well, people have their different concepts about it. I'm not an IELTS examiner. I don't work in the British Council. I don't work in any of those places. But I think why people tend to say these things are just because, number one, I think we're colonized by the British and we speak English as our first language. So people feel like, why should they be telling us why should they be testing our English when we all speak the same English? But at the same time, too, I think, well, it might not be the best approach, but they just probably think, well, it's a good way for them to be able to assess how well you speak. But me, I don't really appreciate the fact that it expires after 2 years. For me, that part doesn't make sense because you can't tell me that I speak good English today, and then in 2 years I'm now speaking wrong English or I'm speaking bad English. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you tell me I should update my English speaking every 2 years? Like, I don't understand what that means really. But when it's them, they are the ones that make the rules really, and you see that so you just have to abide by their rules. But I think the other place where people also have the sentiment is also in the area of results. For example, when I had a 6.5 in writing, people were telling me I should just apply for remarking. But honestly, I didn't have that strength. I was not just in the mood for the remarking thing. I just felt, okay, well, let me just do it again. But I've seen loads of people that have had 6.5 in writing that remarked and they got 7. Some got 7.5. Some got their scores upgraded. So you now start asking yourself that why weren't they thorough in the first instance? Why did you have to go and remark for them to do the right thing? And so for some of us now that didn't remark, our money just went. Meanwhile, if you had remarked, we probably would have gotten the score and would have used that same IELTS stuff. So it's a bit shady.
But maybe probably sometimes they just reward you for paying for remarking. It's business maybe. And I know a couple of people who have also paid for remarking and nothing changed with their scores.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's for the IELTS part. I will make a detailed video about the IELTS as well, especially someone who did foundation school. That's for doctors who trained outside of Nigeria or like the Africans who train outside of Nigeria, places like Eastern Europe, and they don't want to come back home to do that 1 year of like housemanship and everything. So there's that route. So we'll also be talking about that route to UK as well. So the next step after the IELTS will be the Plab 1, right?
Plab 1, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about Plab 1. Like, how was it? When did you write? How did you prepare? Did you use tutorials, etc.?
I wrote my Plab 1 in November 2019. It was November 2019. That was when I wrote my Plab 1. Fortunately, I passed in my first sitting. I think I was able to. Things that really helped me then were there was this app that we used at the time. Not like I'm trying to recommend anything, I'm trying to promote anyone, but
no, we can give them free advert. You can mention.
There was one that we used then. It was Plabable. I used it last time. So they had a 3 months and a 5 month subscription. But I was made to understand now that there are a lot more apps that have lots of more updated stuff you can actually go through, because the truth about Plab is a medical exam. So you're actually now writing the main medical exam now. It's not like IELTS that we're doing English test. This is a medical exam. So aside the app, I think you need to now begin to get more familiar with the British approved medical text. Approved medical text includes their clinical Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine, of course, clinical medicine, clinical surgery, clinical emergency, and the rest. NICE guidelines, patient info. So all of these are like very highly, they're like, how do I put it now? These are like the highly recommended, high yield areas where you can always get verified information. They're always updated. They always have the latest policies and guidelines. So if there's any controversial question, whatever is in NICE guidelines or patient info and the rest, it's almost always going to be the answer because it's always updated. So you could be reading Oxford Clinical Medicine of 2021, but this is 2022, and policies are usually being changed. So sometimes when you're having your discussions, when you're having some conversations and all that, you might find some controversial questions. So it's always good to refer back to some of those NICE patient info, NICE guidelines. I think BNF, NHS, there are quite a number of them. They will actually give you some much more detailed answers that are actually valid and updated at that particular time. And the Plab 1 is not necessarily it just tests your ability to recognize certain medical scenarios in terms of diagnosis, investigations, complications or red signs. It's not like the USMLE that I want you to go very in depth to learn so much about the biochemistry, the pathway, the pathology and all that. Yeah, you might do some of it during the exam, but it's not the real focus. So you just have to go through the question bank, understand how the questions are being framed. The one I used, fortunately, it was able to give you more reading with some links that I talked about. It was able to explain why the other answers were wrong. It was able to explain why the answer was right. So when you go through it, it will give you a very robust understanding of the question, so that if at all it's twisted in any way, you have an understanding of what you should pick when you see the multiple choice. Because I don't think you can cram again in the exam. You just have to understand how the questions are being asked. If not,
so how difficult? You wrote this exam? Was it when you were doing your house job or after?
After. Everything was after NYSC.
NYSC. Okay. I think this gives us more basis for more questions. So how did you handle preparing for the exam alongside working and alongside life? How easy is it for you to be able to combine all these things together?
Well, to be honest, it was not that easy to combine. Of course, I had to be at work. I had other things I was doing, but I think everything still depends on your determination. As medical students too, if we can be very honest, we had other things that we're engaged with, but it didn't take away our focus of going to school, putting in the hours, studying and all that. So I think everything depends on your determination to want to live, and you will always find a way to create time. It's just consistency. If you want to give yourself 2 hours every day, if you want to give yourself 3 hours every day, it's always going to help. And then I think I was in a WhatsApp group and a Zoom group. I was going in and out really, but some of those groups at times they are very crowded. Lots of information might be there, and at times it might start confusing what you already know. But what I liked about the group was the fact that we had a study time. I think it was from 7 or 8 to 10 or thereabout. So I was sure that every 2 hours at least I should see something that has to do with Plab. So even though sometimes I might follow through very, very well. Some other times I might not really follow through. I might just be observing as the questions have been answered. But at least I was sure that every 2 hours, every day, even if I had a very busy day, I was going to have a discussion and at least see some Plab things. So that also helped me.
Okay, great. What do you think? What advice do you have for someone who didn't do well at the first attempt of Plab 1?
Oh, you go again. It's not a big deal really. The Plab exam, to be very honest, I think the Plab exam has changed over the years. There was a time in Plab that you just get some past questions, cram them, go into the exam and just pour it there and you pass. But that time has passed. I think now they've remodeled the exam such that you need to understand how the exam is being asked. And to be very fair, the exam doesn't have a pass mark. The pass mark of the exam is weighed by they do the grouping. So the score of everybody, they take the mean score of everybody and they make it the pass mark. So you are as good as the next candidate. So that's how the exam is. So you can't really be too hard on yourself. So when the result comes out, most times, let's assume that the pass mark over 200 is 117. So a lot of people that tend to not do very well, that may probably be around from 110 to 116, 116.5.
Which could have as well been a pass mark at another season and time.
Definitely.
Okay, so the issue is that you failed not because of your knowledge, but you didn't just do as well in comparison to those who wrote the exam when you did.
Exactly.
But how fair can that be?
It's what it is really. So it's what it is, to be honest, because you just have to try your best really, because of course if you do well, you definitely pass very well. But it's just the way the exam is being graded. So we are all in it together and we all determine the pass score of the exam. However, if you don't pass the first attempt, you can always go back and reflect. There are always areas that you might always think you didn't do so well. That's the good part about these exams. You can always reflect. And naturally, as medical doctors, we've written lots of professional exams over time. And you can almost always reflect on areas you think you were not so good at in an exam. So you just do damage control, register again, and you should be able to pass it the next time. The good thing about Plab is that you have 4 attempts for Plab 1. So you can write it the first time, there's a second try, there's a third try before the final try. Or which even after the final try, you can still appeal and they might probably give you a 5th chance. So you can always get back up. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but sometimes the financial constraint as well. You're talking about £150. That should be going over $200. And how much am I paid if I have other commitments? You know how we are in Africa. It's not just you. It's you. It's your family. It's everybody around. So I would make another video centered around that, so it's not be long. I have a couple of people who actually pass through that route, but you just said it's basically it's not a big deal. It's not really like the test of your knowledge per se. It's just rankings and number 2. Yeah, you can always just reflect and just move on. There are 4 tries. There's always a way out of everything. Your determination is what really do matter. So how did you feel when you passed Plab 1? Let's just stay there for a moment. Was there any special feeling, or was it just like, let us just continue, let's just be going, it's okay?
But Plab 1, to be that exam, that was like one of the fastest 3 hours of my life. That exam was really fast. There were some areas that I was really very confused about, but when the result came out, I was happy really, but there was still lots of more work to do, It's a good thing. Whenever hard work pays, it's always a good thing. You feel like you're getting closer, but
so feeling. In the time frame at during Plab 1, were you married then? Not yet.
During Plab 1, that was 2019. No, I was not married. I think I haven't even engaged my wife at that time.
Oh, great. And you knew her already? Were you guys friends already?
Yes, of course, we were dating at that time. And
so you were juggling. So, guys, it's a possibility, okay? Don't just get facing my exam. That's why. Okay, that's amazing. So let's move on. What was the distance between Plab 1 and Plab 2? How long did you take?
My plan was, I passed my Plab 1 in November 2019. I wanted to write my Plab 2 in May 2020. As a matter of fact, I had already started a Plab 2 academy in February, shortly before COVID started. So it was when COVID started that the whole lockdown began. So I couldn't, they had to cancel all the exams. So that was why I was able to write my exam in May. So November to May was about 6 months. I'll probably explain why that happened because of the account building and blah, blah. I'll talk about that in preparation for Plab 2 anyway. But it was about 6 months before I now go for my Plab 2.
Oh, all right. So in between that time, what were you doing?
I was working, trying to build my accounts so I can get a visa. I was now also trying to, there was this academy that we were going to then that was very helpful too.
You can mention them.
But there was something academy.
If you are very good, and you have 100%. If we could just say there are some academies, it's okay that way.
But there are some academies because to be fair, to be honest, I've seen people pass in and fail in all academies. So I really will not stick out my neck and say this is the best. You know, any academy that you know that they're going to give you the things that you need for the exam is fine. But that was actually quite good at that time, so I used it and it was good for me, to be honest. So I couldn't write my exam in May because of COVID. So I had to get a new date in January 2021 to write my exam. Yeah.
Oh, great. So let's jump into it. So you had your IELTS done and you had your Plab 1 passed already. So how did you prepare for Plab 2? What are the steps?
Because for Plab 2 preparation is quite different because Plab 2 is a clinical exam. They're trying to assess how you can relate with patients, trying to assess how professional you can be, their ethical questions around it and all that. So I think the Plab 2, the major domains are around your knowledge, your interpersonal skills, and I think ethics and all of those other things too. But I think if you can really work on having good interpersonal skills, you should be able to do quite well in the exam. The UK is a very polite system, so they almost always need you to be very, very polite with patients, trying to know how they are doing. Are you okay? How's it going? Trying to get them to tell you more about what is really going on with them. Because the focus of the exam for Plab 2 is for you to address patients' concerns. You know, like the way we train in Nigeria, most times we have lots of knowledge and you meet with patients. Sometimes you're more fixed on trying to just throw your knowledge on your patients, load them with stuff so that they'll feel like, this doctor knows what he's saying or knows what he's doing. But in the UK, it's kind of like opposite. Yes, of course, you have the knowledge, but what is really the focus of the exam is how you can be able to address the patient's concerns. So you're trying to see how you can, as much as possible, give the patient an opportunity for them to ask as many questions as possible that are bothering them and how you can address those concerns from the patient. So you find yourself asking lots of open-ended questions. Someone comes and tells you, I'm having a stomach pain. Oh, sorry about that. Can you tell me more about this pain? Oh, the pain started like this, started that. So the person is actually going to be the one that will be leading you on to where they want you to actually get to. So that's actually how the interaction really goes on in Plab 2 exam. So there are much more of the scenarios you're going to get to know over time, but it's the way the exam is designed. So it's something that we're not used to as Nigerians. So Nigerians, most times when they go management, but IPS, interpersonal skills, tends to be like a problem. So that's why the academies are quite helpful, because we'll be able to fine-tune you on how to be able to ask questions in such a way that you'll be able to get good things from the patient and then be able to address their concerns. And with the way the exam is ranked, you have 4 for interpersonal skills, 4 for knowledge, 4 for management. So naturally, if you can get 3 in your interpersonal skills, if you get 2 in knowledge, 3 in management, you've gotten like 7 or 8. I think 8 over 12. If you almost pass that station, you're probably going to pass that station. But imagine you get 3 in knowledge, you get 2 in management, you get 0 in IPS, you're getting 5 over 12. So these were some of the issues, and then we had to use these academies to keep practicing on how to, and that was how it was. So I went for an academy in Lagos in February for about 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks. Where they're getting the knowledge. So the way the academy was designed was, you go for the academy for a few weeks, you get the notes, lots of stations and notes and all that, and then you go into the UK and do some like mocks, just revise mocks and all of that, which we did. And it was quite helpful, really, because those mocks will kind of give you like a realistic scenario of what you're going to see in the exam. It will put you in that examination mood to give you a timing that you're going to use during the exam, so that by the time you're going for the main exam, you'd have probably had that feeling a couple of times and you'd be a bit more relaxed. when you're going for the main exam. So that was in terms of the exam preparation. Then in terms of the logistics for the exam, you have to get a visa from the UK, definitely. Most times you have to use maybe a travel visa or a tourism visa just to let them know. So it's usually about your bank statement at that time. So you just have to try and see how you can build a relatively fair bank statement. There's really no clear cut on getting a UK visa, because everybody's situation is different. If you've had previous travel history, it's easier for you. If you've had if you have like whatever, so for some of us that have never traveled before, it was like, okay, how do I build a good financial statement that was not going to seem like I was going to go into the UK and I won't have enough money to either take care of myself when I'm in the UK, or when I come back to Nigeria, I don't have any money for myself. So these are some of the things that you need to look at. So there's a way they build the account. Maybe you can give them like a
salary account.
Salary accounts, mostly from where you're working, maybe 4 to 6 months statements, at least within 6 months, at least it should be maximum of 6 months, really. Just showing a steady inflow of your salary from your company or where you work, your expenditure every month and all that. Then of course, even if you are going to use a sponsor, you should at least be able to show that you are doing something for yourself and you are working and all that. So of course, when you are applying for the visa, your company is going to help you with, of course, a letter that shows that you are working with them. They probably might give you like a leave letter that you are going on leave. Maybe appointment letter will be attached. You get a bank statement. You will have a cover letter just to explain your whole trip. You will have like a flight itinerary. You might have done some hotel bookings. Just enough evidence to show to them that I am going to write an exam. Of course, you'd have had your Plab 1 result with you, definitely. So enough evidence that I'm going to write an exam. I can take care of myself during the trip, and I can come back, and I'll come back to Nigeria when I'm done with the exam. The Plab 2 cost about £875. That is where the money is really for Plab. The main money for Plab is that money. The exam cost £875 as at that time.
That time we mean 2021.
That last year, yeah. As a last year, I don't know about now. But even if it's still at that same amount, you know what the exchange rates could be. So those are the issues really. So the exam costs about £875. Then you have transport logistics, you have accommodation logistics.
Give us a rough estimate. Transport, accommodation, logistics. If you don't have someone to live with in the UK, or not just in the UK, actually.
to be honest, there are ways around this thing, really. There's a way to arrange yourself to get a visa, and then there's a way to now actually go about your main trip. But those are other things that we can look into. But I think naturally, with about 1.5 to you should probably be able to go and come back. I don't know what the exchange rate is at the moment, but you convert it to pounds, probably with about £2,000. Fairly, £2,000 is even much. £2,000 is quite much, but it's something that is quite doable, really. Something that is quite doable. There are many ways to go about it, because I think that's another issue where people need to really learn how to know how to get this UK visa, because it's really another challenge again when it comes to writing the exam. I've had people that have been denied over time, and because of that, their IELTS maybe expired, and the whole thing just became a roller coaster.
Do you know someone can help us with that video? Can you connect us? Someone who can give us that information. Either ways, we'll be helping them, but with legit adverts. But I don't mind, because my main aim is doing giving people the information that they need. So the only thing I would love to verify for now, it will not be like this forever.
Yeah.
But the only thing I would love to verify is just their average legitimacy. I know all agents are terrible, to be honest. No matter how good an agent is, they are terrible. So that we all know that agency, they make money some way. There are hidden fees here and there. But that's what you're paying for. If they will guarantee this, how will I put it? The delivery, and a person can afford it, why not? If you can find cheaper ways yourself, of course, do it.
To be honest, Eddie, personally, I never needed any agent to apply for UK visa. UK visa is kind of like one of the easiest visas you can apply for. It's about ticking the boxes. They'll tell you what they want to see. It's just why you're going to get those things that they want to see, and you should be able to get what you want to get.
So why do people find it? Why now you made a very potent statement that people have been denied over time until their IELTS expires. So
I was once denied myself.
So what was the problem? You have to be very honest with me.
I was once denied myself. Look at what really happened in my own time. My own time, then I was writing my exam on the 5th of May, so I gave them my document, and the lockdown came, and that was it. Everything just went, and I couldn't even retrieve my passport. However, when they reopened in August, I think it was my own error. To be honest, I think it was my own error because I was denied. Why was I? I was denied because I added all the documents, but I didn't put in my payment for the Plab 2 exam receipt. I think when you pay for the Plab 2 exam, there's a receipt, and there's a receipt that is given to you, and there's another document that is given to you, either the payment confirmation or something. There was one I added which was not the receipt. So that was where I had the problem. So it's almost like, okay, you want to go and write Plab, so they've checked everything that they're looking for, which is there, but the proof of payment for the exam was not there. So nobody's going to give you that visa. So that was my own error. And that just explains to you how the boxes are being ticked. So naturally, if you're going to go for the to get a visa for your Plab 2, the major thing that they want to see first of all is that you have proof of payment for the exam. You have paid the exam. You've passed your Plab 1. Good. Every other thing is now trying to say you can back up the fact that you're going to go and come back. And they will actually, and interestingly, they will tell you the things that they want to actually see: educational history, financial history, employment history. It's there. Just go in there and look at what they want you to do, and just tick the box. Just tick the box. It's a road that everybody has been passing, and the way the UK tends to operate, they have like checklists for almost everything that they want to do. So if you can know the checklist and you tick the checklist, well, you should be fine. But in terms of organizing your travel logistics, which is where people usually tend to have a problem, I think if you can find a friend that's going to give you an invitation, that's a plus. So your application is going to be stronger if somebody invites you. And then what that one will help you to do is, especially for those that don't have so much money, it's a way you can actually get your visa. Get someone. It can be anyone. It can be a doctor friend that you know, someone that you know, an aunt, someone that you know. It's not a problem. Get someone that will invite you, and then that is going to help to reduce your cost, the cost of your trip. In the sense that if someone invites you, they probably will see that you're going to stay in their house for a couple of days. Now that has reduced your accommodation cost to an extent. That reduced your transport cost to an extent. That reduced your miscellaneous cost to an extent. So what you can say is that, okay, you're going to spend 2 weeks in the UK. You stay in your friend's place or your family place, like whoever is inviting you for maybe to isolate for a week, and then you go to Manchester. Maybe your exam. Let's say your exam is on Thursday. You go to Manchester on Sunday or on Monday. You check into a hotel. On Tuesday, you just probably go and try to get yourself a little bit around the city to be able to know how things are being done. Wednesday, you relax. Thursday, you go for your exam. Friday, you leave Manchester back to your friend's place. And then Saturday, you're off to Nigeria. So what you're basically doing is that you're putting a 2 week trip into a plan. But the actual part you're going to actually be spending your own money really, really, really is within the last week. So if you look at that logistic now, it has actually, because the way the thing is that you have to explain how everything is being done. So I'm going to travel to, maybe with bus, you calculate the amount you're going to spend, go and fro to Manchester for the exam and back to wherever you're staying before you go back to Nigeria, and just like that. And so there are ways you can be able to go about it. So with less than, I've seen people get visa with less than £400 as £300 as their travel expense. Less than that. Because where the major money now comes in is your flights. By the time you pay your flight and those other little logistics, you put them together, it's less than £300, and they'll give you a visa really. They just need to see that you are thinking about your logic is right, and they are not really. It's not. I don't know, Sha. That's what I think anyway. It's not so stiff-necked. Nobody's really out to fight you. Nobody's out to get you. Just be logical in what you are saying. Be logical in your explanation, and you should probably get your visa.
All right. How was the transition from practicing in Nigeria to the UK? How was it? Any shock, any excitement?
I'm still in shock, right? I'm still in shock, like now, Seth. I don't think it's going to be out for like a couple of, maybe after like a year plus.
Can you share?
I'm a psychiatrist here. And
wow, interesting.
Yeah, I'm a psychiatrist here, and what we call psychiatry, where we are coming from, it's an aberration, really. What we call psychiatry is an aberration. Like it's because this is a video, and I have to just try as much as possible not to be too kind of things. But what we call psychiatry, where we are coming from, is an aberration. It should not be. It's something that should not be heard of in recent times. And to be honest, why I couldn't really do much was because our mental health laws, our mental health act in Nigeria was last reviewed in 1960 something. So imagine us using a practice of 1960 something. 1990, that's almost 40, 50 years ago. It can't be relevant in research. It can't be relevant.
True.
Relevant. That's the truth. So it's nothing that we can really do much except we change those laws. And we see how we can push some bills that will help to. It's terrible. Over here, things work. Things work. Why? Because everybody's on ground to get patients, to make patients better. You have a social worker is on ground, your OT is on ground, everybody is on ground. So when we're having an assessment, when we're managing a patient, it's holistic. In us, every predisposing factors, every risk factors, every triggers are being identified, are being addressed. But where we are coming from, you rehabilitate somebody, and then you push the person back into the same environment that triggers them, and then they relapse, and it's almost like you're just going back and forth. But here they do a lot of safeguarding, and they do a lot of checks to make sure that whatever are those factors, they try as much as possible to protect you so that you don't go back into an environment that's going to trigger you. So it's a different. I'm still in shock, really. You have a mental health act that has lots of sections that it's maybe conversation for another day, really.
All right. So I want to ask a question. You don't have to answer.
Okay, I'll try.
Do you consider your story the basic Nigerian guy or young person story, in the sense that how far or how close is your story from the average Nigerian doctor?
Let me see. The average Nigerian doctor, to be honest, is quite...
I mean, coming from not so okay background and, roughing it through med school, because I know a lot of people watching this video may just be like, hey, hi, this guy, like, like, where are you coming from? You're going to tell us, like, you're just calling pounds and all these things and everything. Maybe, like, how far is your information from the regular?
Okay, well, at least in the course of our practice, we've met with so many people from different medical schools, the state, the federal, the international, and the rest of that. I think, to be honest, when you become a doctor in Nigeria, one way or the other, even though, yes, it's not nice, it's bad, one way or the other, you still be able to live head above water. Head above water in the sense that, at least one way or the other, you still be able to sort out one or two bills here and there. So, to be honest with you, Eddie, to be very honest with you, I've met lots of Nigerians that were so comfortable where they were that I didn't see a need to leave.
Good. I love you got to this point. Do you find medicine rewarding in Nigeria? Personally, not people you met. Like, will you raise a child, your child, and if they eventually become doctors, and they come to you and like, I want to practice medicine in Nigeria. I know you're a Christian. I know you believe in purpose and the calling of God, but let's look at that like just a little bit. Like, even with this, your understanding of life and God, how excited do you think your heart and your knowledge will be?
To be fair, in as much as I initially said that, yeah, money was a good motivation for me. When I began to practice, Eddie, to be honest, was, the way we are trained as doctors. Any doctor I see anywhere that has graduated, I always give them respect because it's rigorous training, and most importantly, we have this universal knowledge. We are trained with global standards. If you're going to do a chest examination in Nigeria, it's going to be the same way it's going to be done in the US, in the UK, in Canada, anywhere in the world. It's the same standard. Now you have gone through school having been equipped with knowledge, universal knowledge, you start practicing and you go into a system where people die cheap deaths. When I started doing my housemanship, I first of all started in a general hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, like somebody comes to the hospital, cannula. They don't even have money to buy cannula. And when that happens, the patient is dead. And then I find myself writing lots of death certificates, and I'm like, I wasn't trained. I haven't spent 7-8 years of my life in medical school to be writing death certificates, especially for deaths that I think are preventable. Like, if this guy just gets probably normal saline, probably gets a quick intervention, it should be better. So, in as much as the financial part was there, but there was no joy in what I was doing because I wasn't saving lives really. There was nothing. Like, people just died so cheaply, and for me, I felt this is not just what I want to do. Like, I'm not going to be happy doing this, and I began to think of other alternatives. But as you said, everybody is different. But for me, at that point, I just felt, look, I need to look for something better. And when the option of the UK came up, I was very happy, and I grabbed it with both arms. And I can tell you, Eddie, with all due respect, the NHS still remains one of the best in the world. Not because, of course, people die, which is normal, but the value for life, like even a support worker is taught to do CPR. Like, so when it comes to life, once you are within the health system, you have a responsibility. Not like in Nigeria that everything falls on the neck of the doctor. Or once the doctor is not there, nothing happens. Over here, an average registered nurse can do an ECG and interpret and give to you. So it's about the value system. The value system wasn't there. People just there in Nigeria, they just count it as statistics and how many people died, how many people did not die, and they just move on to the next. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, this is not what we're trained in school to come and do. So for me, it was not just going to work. So if I have a son that wants to be a doctor, it's a good thing. But okay, I do have a son actually that wants to be that. I don't know if he wants to be a doctor, but if he wants to be a doctor, I think I'm going to encourage him to go for something. I don't know. I said, picking that is in UK, wants to go to Nigeria and study medicine. Don't be juju be that. I don't understand.
Absolutely, I get you. I just wanted that answer. Thank you so much for being very honest. What are your top tips? If you can give 3 to 5 tips. I know because of data issues, I tried to arrange my videos in such a way that if anyone can't go through the long part, I always leave some part. I'm trying that now to just leave, like in these interviews, like the last part. So what if somebody clicked this video, because a lot of people will click this video first of all because primarily, let me just say, some people will click this video because of the Plab giveaway that I'm doing this month. So we're going to be paying for someone's Plab 1 exam. So we're going to pay someone $250. How nice would that have been if you got an opportunity like that? If you're a rich guy now, you don't
grab it with hands and feet, you know?
Well, so top 5 tips a young person, either these are the various cases we may have, so make it well-rounded. Someone take this journey just like you, so studied in Nigeria and want to move to the UK to practice, or let's say foreign trained medical doctors, they're back in Nigeria, they've taken their the Medical and Dental Council exam, the MDCN exam. Did you write that?
No, I didn't write it.
Okay, because I know there was a time that IU
well, it stopped shortly before we graduated.
Nice. But that was, I don't think it would be a problem though. So let's say the person comes, and then by the time you do your internship, your house job, you're as good as everyone in the country. So the level practice is almost the same. Although people who study foreign trained medical doctors may have opportunity to have applied for the UK visa and already have traveling experience. So maybe that part, they may just be that slight advantage. So I always advise people, if you leave Nigeria, like to any other place, it's a little bit easy to apply for visas and go to other places just to increase your travel experience. So, but let's just start from the basic point where everybody, like last, you've gone abroad, you've come back to meet us in Nigeria, all of us, we're in the hospital together. I'm sure you had that experience with, like, we all now, they start the same journey. So, what are the 4 or 5, I don't know how many tips you can give, like straight up, to say you have like 3 minutes, you want to like give them like the short tips, run them through advice, like help us.
Okay, if I understood you well, you're just trying to say now, how do I advise young doctors that want to leave Nigeria to the UK?
Yes.
On which they can use to.
Trot. Yes.
Well, for me, I think number one, you just have to just think of what you want for yourself. Really, it's about what you want for yourself and what you want. It's about what you want to get for yourself, really. Because I don't think at the level of going to write an international exam to leave the country, anybody can really encourage you more than you want to encourage yourself. Because I've seen lots of people that, because of family ties, it was quite a struggle for them. But it all depends on where you're coming from and the kind of decision that you're willing to make, which I think is a good decision at the end of the day, really. But I think you just have to make some decisions for yourself and then focus on your decision. And then number two, I think you just need to try and create options for yourself. Options in the sense that I have friends in Nigeria presently that are practicing, but they have their UK license. Now, what they've done is that they're giving themselves options. So you can actually pass your UK exams and still choose to remain in Nigeria, maybe to finish your residency or something. So that you don't just feel like you left Nigeria with nothing. So these are still options for you, because you need to just try as much as possible to make sure that you don't just get stranded or frustrated. Because when you lack options, the next thing that comes is frustration, because you just feel like once this one is gone, that is it. But try and give yourself options by trying other exams, trying other things you want to do. Plab is a good one. If you want to do the Usmle, fine. If you want to do the Australian exam, fine. If you want to do the Canadian exam, fine. Just give yourself options. It helps at the end of the day for you to be able to make decisions maybe over time. And then number three for me, I think it's planning. Just have a good plan. Have a good plan. It's never too late to start. I've seen consultants leave Nigeria to the UK. When I went to my academy, I can't count the amount of consultants I saw. The people were seeing their chiefs inside the academy when they were going there. Chief, are you here? Chief. But it's what it is. Nobody cares about that time who is chief or who is not chief. It's about the fact that you know what you're pursuing, you know what is ahead of you, and you know what you want to get. So for me, I think just remain focused. So even if you're a consultant, even if you're an SR, whatever you are, have your plan. And the good part is that if you come in as an SR or as a consultant, you're going to definitely be coming in with a higher level of experience. So your pay is definitely going to be better or higher than someone that just came in at an entry level. So even the UK, they understand the place of experience when it comes to practice. And they're also going to give you your value. So a lot of times people just feel like, oh, I've spent so much time in Nigeria. How do I just live like that? No. All those years you spent working in Nigeria, practicing in Nigeria, it's going to add up to your working experience. So by the time you're done with your job, you're done with your Plab 2, and you want to apply for a job, you're going to definitely arrange your CV. All of those experience begin to count, because by the time you are going for an interview for a job in the UK, you're going in with like maybe 10 years experience, 15 years experience. You will naturally easily get a job compared to someone that just had maybe 1 year experience or whatever it might be. So all of those things count at the end of the day. So it's never too late to start a journey. Just think of the fact that, okay, what do I want for myself? What is available for me? What is attainable for me? And then you push it. And then lastly, what I would say is that some things cannot be explained. They need to be experienced. No matter how people try to explain to you, come to the UK, until you really come and start practicing, that is actually when you're going to really appreciate the value of what you are doing. As a doctor, there's value here. Not just value in the sense of people just calling you a doctor and all that, but even the system gives you your value. You have easy access to loans, easy access to mortgages, easy access to so many things. And when you come into the country, you come in such a way that you already have a pathway to becoming a citizen of the UK. So it's a win-win however you look at it. There's more pay. Citizenship is probably going to be in a couple of years. Everything is just arranged. Your children come in because of the process in which you came in. They are going to enjoy the benefits of the society like every other UK citizen or person that comes in legally should enjoy. So it's a win-win however you look at it. So I just think people just need to try as much as possible to expand their scope a little. I understand that at times the medical work could just get into you and just be doing the whole thing, but sometimes really you need to take a step back, look at the picture holistically, and then make some decisions.
Okay. Can you just add one more tip for a medical student watching this video?
Medical students, it's even better. But it depends on when you're about to finish. That's what I would say, because if you're going to when you can write IELTS whenever you do like, but remember that's 2 years before it expires. So you need to put that into
hopefully they abolish that.
I hope so.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but that is the reality on ground. So before it's been abolished, you need to put that into consideration. However, I talked about salary structure. Well, that one is not really much of a problem. Whatever it is, you will grow in the system. So it shouldn't be much of a problem to you. But however, if you're a medical student, if you're getting towards the end, you could start with your IELTS, go for your Plab 1. I think people that were really smart started earlier, really. I had a classmate that didn't even do her house. She didn't do her NYSC. After her housemanship, straight to the UK. And she's doing a residency program today and she's enjoying herself. So it all depends on how determined you are, really. You can push.
All right. So I want to ask.
Yeah.
Did you get married before going to UK? How what was the time frame between your marriage and going to the UK?
Okay, I came into the UK last year, May. I got married in April, just a month before coming to the UK. So it was all together, really. Just a month's difference. I think I already had it in mind that I was going to be coming over to the UK when I passed my exams. And somehow I'd already engaged my wife, my friend that time, and we had done our introduction. So everything it would have actually been faster if not because of COVID, because I was supposed to write my Plab 2 in May 2020. But because of COVID, I had to write it in January 2021. So all of those gaps were kind of like the things that made it all come together. So by the time I was able to finally get a date to write my Plab 2 in January, I just felt, okay, let's just get done with it, because after Plab 2, once the result is out, once you get your UK license, you start applying for your jobs. Things move really fast, and I wanted to actually come with her immediately. So that was it. So
I just wanted to maybe throw more light for someone, probably a young person, male or female, and they're probably in a relationship, about to get married or married. How financially convenient is it for young couples to be able to achieve this like UK dream, or just moving out to practice?
Young couples, well, to be honest, it's quite financially draining, really. Well, of course, everybody has a different financial standing, but what I've always seen people do is, I usually see one if, like, for example, now let's assume both of them are doctors. What I usually see is one person goes for the exam, gets the other person to come with them, and then when the other person gets there, they now start writing their exams to practice. In some cases, the two of them might be doing it at the same time and they might move at the same pace, but it's just because of the fact that when you come over to the UK and you start working, the remunerations come almost quickly. So you get into the UK, in 3 months, you can bring your partner, you can bring your family. So it all depends on how they plan it. It might be very difficult financially to move at once, but I've also seen people that would borrow money, lend from somewhere. Once they come into the UK, they give back the money because you're working and you're going to be able to pay back as quickly as possible. So it all depends on what works best for you.
All right. In a case whereby my spouse or the person I intend to marry is not in the medical field, not a doctor, what do you have to say about that?
Well, if I get married to someone that's non-medical, it all depends on what the person is doing, really, how you guys are able to manage the finances. It's just the finances that is mostly the major factor when you're coming over to the UK, because you're coming into a country where you have to pay your rent probably every month. You have to take care of other responsibilities. So that is fund on itself. And then if you now have children, even more funds. So basically, it all depends on what both of you are doing. If the wife is also gainfully employed or is able to get some financial backing or some savings or something, it's easier because you can both come into the country and over time get yourself settled in, because you're going to come into the country. The doctor is going to come into the country, or the health professional is going to come into the country with a sponsorship certificate from wherever they are working. So UK knows that you're coming back into the country to work, and then you're coming back into the country to add value to their economy. So it's not going to be much of a struggle at that time. It's just for you to come in, and once you start working and you start getting paid, you'll be able to sort out every other thing. And then if your wife is a non-medical person too, the good part about the UK is that there are lots of job opportunities available, lots of job opportunities for whatever you do, lots of job opportunities. So go on the internet, search on some job websites. If you're looking for a full-time job, a part-time job, whatever job that suits your need at that time, you'll probably be able to find something that is quite good. And based on their minimum wage, you'll be able to go home with something something quite good to support your family.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome to my channel, and I know that today's discussion is going to be amazing. You didn't tell them that you can dance. Dr. Phil is like, shout out to all the extractors.
I didn't know that marriage also gives pot belly. Now you see my stomach now. I can't.
Whoa! They say this. They say this joke. Like I think it was a pastor that was saying something like, the women, they marry you with the 6-pack and then they secure you by giving you food to eat, so that so they've secured you by
telling you.
Yeah. But anyways, like you can see, that's probably just look a little bit funny.
No, I'll try.
All right. So please tell them to like, share, subscribe, and join the movement to reach out to people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so please like, share, comment. It's a very important conversation that we're having here, and you need to get involved.
Thanks for watching this video to the end. On the screen right now will be the doctors that are eligible. At this moment, you can also join in if this is your first time of hearing about this video. Like I said in the beginning, the video that describes all of the requirements will be in the description box below, and also in the card to be the end screen, as well as in the pinned comment. So you can join these doctors as well on the road to being eligible to win this $250. So thank you so much for watching. The question for the day is, what is Dr. Phil's specialty and what year did he write Plab 2? So put this in the comment section and you increase your chances of winning. So thank you for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, let everyone know about this, and I'll see you in the next video where we talk about alternate routes to the UK aside the Plab route. So bye.